What is up, nerd rookies, everybody? We are back. It's the House of Nerd Show. We are here to do an advanced review. I've got Sergio up top. I've got Steve on the other top. And me, your friendly neighborhood by Lauren. And we have a really cool issue in general to talk about for our advanced review. It's a book called The Last Book You'll Ever Read. And it is by Cullen Bunn on the writing.
Good old Cullen Bunn. Good old Cullen Bunn.
You know we love the Bunn here.
Cullen Bunn on the House Nerd Show. We've done a lot of Bunn books.
Hashtag love the Bun.
Hashtag Bunn books.
Wow.
Hashtag let's see those buns.
Right, but so we wanted to do advanced reviews especially because it is out this Wednesday, July 8th. So make sure if you did not already add it to your poll box, call your shop, ask if they can throw it in there for you, or get there ASAP on Wednesday to grab it. But let's just get right into it, guys. I mean, we had advanced copies. I read it. We all know Cullen Bunn, for most of us, is really great, or he kind of misses a little bit. What did you guys think? Steve, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I think you said it best, what you just said. Sometimes Bunn, he's hit or miss. You know, we've talked about books where they've been hit, like Basilisk, and we've talked about books where they've been a little bit of a miss, like Shadowman that we've read.
For us, anyways.
For some of us, yeah.
For some of us, yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, personal taste, that's how it goes with art all the time, right? So, personal taste, the last book you'll ever read, I didn't hate it. I'll admit that. Like, I didn't hate it at all. In terms of
why do you start it with that, Steve?
Wow.
Because you start at the bottom and you work your way up. So I think this is one of the better Bunn books that we've read. I liked it a lot. I enjoyed the premise of it. For those that aren't aware, from what the takeaway I have of this is, it's about a writer of this book, and people who read the book end up going crazy. Is there a supernatural thing going on? Is there there's that intrigue there of like, I don't know what exactly is going on. People are reading a book. People are going crazy. What the fuck? I like that intrigue. I like this idea that it's just this book that are making people do these things. It honestly feels to me as if it's like a Stephen King concept. Like, this is something I could see Stephen King possibly doing, where it's just like, pick up this book. It's this horror book with all these curses or something, and it makes people go crazy and eat people and shit like that. And it honestly feels like a Joe Hill or like a Stephen King kind of concept, but it's it's Cullen Bunn writing it.
You know, I got the Ninth Gate vibes off of this book. Like an End of Days type of vibe. You know, you gave us a premise there, the synopsis. Yeah, there's a writer. She puts out this book. People are reading it, and they're starting to go crazy. We suspect because of the book.
Yeah.
The concept is interesting. You know what? I gotta be honest. I enjoyed reading this, man. It was a trip and a half for me. I think, and what a lot of I guess for me, what Bunn's biggest strength is what he's able to tell with the least amount of words. You know.
Yep. I'd agree with that.
Man, he's a master at this. You know, you don't need, dialogue after dialogue or narrative. He gets to it. He lays it out in such a way. Man, he's so concise. The vibe and the tone of the last book you'll ever read is set from the first page. And then you have this crazy art, and you've got some of the goriest.
Oh my gosh, man. The blood and gore. I mean, I'm not even the biggest fan of it, but look at that shit. Like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's why it evokes like a Stephen King feeling for me. And I don't know why, but it just does.
I mean, to be fair, I think even though Stephen King is a wordy writer at times, Stephen King, the reason his stuff can translate so well to like movies and television, part of the reason I feel like is because you can tell the stories he tells with less words. Like, you can do it. And that's not to say his words are poor or anything, but it's just a matter of, like Sergio said, look how few, I mean, even here, like there's few words that you're seeing on these pages, and I can still kind of follow the story, even if I hadn't read this. Like, I'm like, oh, wow, there's still something happening here, and it still captures my attention. Whereas other comics, if the dialogue's gone, you're like, you lose so much of the story just because of that, which makes sense. But yeah, I mean, I agree, especially Sergio. Like, I read this and I was like, we got this advanced copy. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this, but we'll see. Bro, I loved it. Like, I had so much fun reading it. It was a good time. And yeah, Cullen Bunn has a way of telling a story with less words, and I think he's not Tom King in that he should do narration, and I think that's a good thing for Cullen Bunn. Like, hey, keep the less words, the better. Tell your story differently, and he's unique in that way, Cullen Bunn.
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone better right now, at least in the horror game, who's able to set a tone and a vibe and kind of just really draw you into this story. It's got some supernatural elements to it. What I really enjoyed the most is you've got the narration and you kind of see how society, how the streets are reacting to this book. You've got a couple pages there of just things, action sequences going on in the background, society breaking down.
Sergio, you just like seeing the world burn. I feel like dystopias, everybody falling apart. You just like it all burning.
I think so, man. But I found myself. I reread it. I found myself on the second time. I'm like, wow, like you're just simply put, how you're drawn into this kind of story, and the fear, the anger that's expressed, and the whole point of the last book you'll ever read is this underlying, right underneath the surface, humans at our most basic nature, we're just wild at peace,
yep. and
it's just ready to burst and come out, and that's what's happening. And how Bunn and the artist, excuse me, what is the artist's name?
Leila Leiz.
Leiz, man, how they managed to create this. This is one of the better Bunn books to come out for me personally. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And yeah, the art from Leiz is utterly fantastic. And I love that here too, in terms of there's some supernatural thing going on, but you don't know what it is. Is it zombies? Is it vampires? It could be any of them. And so if you're a fan of literally anything like that, vampires or zombies or this or that or ghosts or even werewolves, there's something for you in here, because we don't know what's happening. We don't know if it's this or that, but it's something crazy. And yeah, it just really explores the monster and all of us humans, I think. And that no matter how much good we're trying to do or whatever, we still have that part of us that we have to acknowledge at the very least. So I really enjoyed it as well.
Yeah.
Yep. Gotta acknowledge it. Steve, any last thoughts you want to share on the book?
No, honestly, I think you both said just as much as I wanted to say. Like, it's a great book. There's a lot of intrigue here. For number one, as I talk about, I have a checklist. This number one did everything that I wanted. It hooked me with the cool premise of people going crazy from reading a book.
Yeah.
The art is amazing, like we've already talked about. The coloring is great. The font is there's nothing wrong with this book. Like, it's a perfect number one.
Number one. That's the first time I've heard that praise almost from you, Steve. I feel like I've heard a good number one, I've heard a great number one, but perfect. You gave on everything
for what it needs to do. It's a perfect number one.
Listen, did you hear Stephen's words? Yeah, you're right, Lord.
Perfect. I don't think I've ever number one.
Such high praise for a number one book. Stephen's
I think if they do a second print of this first issue, they should put Steve's review of a perfect number one on the front cover.
Vault Comics, do it.
Let us know, Vault. Steve gives full permission. I think. I hope. I'll speak for him if he,
Man, Vault
perfect
Comics,
number one, guys.
They've got another hit for sure, Steve. I agree. Wholeheartedly, a fantastic debut issue from this.
I mean, the thing is, what else could they do? I'm trying. That's why I'm thinking. I'm thinking in terms of a number one. What else could they do to make it a better number one?
Yeah.
I can't think of anything. I honestly
because it's perfect. You're right. So everybody, House of Nerd Show approved. Pick up the perfect number one. That is the last book you'll ever read from Cullen Bunn and Leila Leila, however you say it, Leiz, and let us know what you think. Let us know if it really is the perfect number one, or if Steve is wrong.
I'll be picking up a copy on Wednesday for sure, and they've got a couple cool, really neat variants. They're coming in like poly bags. They're like the X-rated covers.
Oh, see, I would love an X-ray cover. Hand it over.
Yeah. So if you're out in the shops, look out for those. I believe they come in like black poly bags. So they've got some tricks up their sleeves, and
I'll have to bring in my X-ray goggles so I can see through to make sure I like the cover.
Oh, man,
but seriously, y'all, check it out. The last book you'll ever read from Vault Comics, Cullen Bunn and Leiz. Out this Wednesday, July 28th. Call your shop. Run to get it as soon as you can. Whichever one you can do, pick it up. House of Nerds Show approved. Perfect number one. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, you enjoy what we do, please make sure to like the video, subscribe, and hit that bell so that you know when we put out more videos like this, because we do our live shows on Sundays and we want to give you more content throughout the week. So thank you guys so much for checking us out. Sergio, where can everybody find you?
Insert Name Inc. on Twitter.
Perfect. Steve, where can we find you?
At Stovepost, as it says right there, at Stovepost on Twitter. Where can we find you, Lauren?
Right below at Friendly MBHC Buy. Come bother us. We love to chat. We want to hear from you guys. Comment on the video. We're so excited to help promote good indie comics, so make sure you support your local comic shop and making sure you're buying indie comics as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will check in with y'all next time on the House of Nerd.
All right.